This is Georgetown, the podcast. Georgetown County and the city. Georgetown is growing, changing, expanding, and blossoming. The Hammock Coast of South Carolina. It's a renaissance. This is Georgetown, the podcast. Here's your host, Scott Richards.
I am Scott Richards, Georgetown, the podcast. We are back for another episode of All Things Georgetown. We like to think there is a renaissance going on in Georgetown, whether it's Georgetown, the city, or Georgetown, the county, or the area. It's one of the great places along the coast of South Carolina, actually in the nation. And today, I am really happy to tell you we have a special guest. Susan and I, we've been friends for a long time.
Yes,
and we've worked together, and it is really great to have you. You look great. And
thank you.
Susan is the executive director of the Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. What year are we doing this year?
34th. 34th year. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yes. I don't know if I was there. I probably was there. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. But Georgetown. I want to just get a little bit of the sense of that you have for what Georgetown has become, what it is doing for you and the festival. Just talk a little bit about the great thing, the great place that is Georgetown.
Well, for us being in Pawleys Island, we're so close to Georgetown, we can get there in a matter of 10 minutes. It's not that long a drive, but just all the exciting news that is going on downtown, all the new shops, the new restaurants, the selling of the paper mill, the steel mill. And when that is gone, and they redevelop it, I just think Georgetown is going to explode on the map even more than it already is. But, being in Georgetown County, Pawleys Island gets to reap the rewards of that, because if Georgetown continues to grow, those people coming to visit that area, that's just going to be more people that will come a little bit further north to Pawleys Island and hopefully enjoy what we can offer as far as culture and music.
One of the things I was surprised to hear Al Joseph talk about a couple of weeks back when we talked to him, that there used to be maybe 3 or 4 restaurants on Front Street. And now he says there are 16 different restaurants.
Yes, there are.
And it's just amazing to me how much that has expanded. And these are not burger joints, although there are some great burger joints. There's some wonderful restaurants.
Fine dining. It's some of the finest meals I've had in the past couple of years. It's really something special. And I can't imagine how it's going to explode once the steel mill is redeveloped and businesses. I just have this feeling that Georgetown is going to be quite the jewel along the coast between Charleston and Myrtle Beach. And of course, we think we can get a lot of people from the Mount Pleasant area driving up to Georgetown because there's a lot more going on. But you mentioned Pawleys Island. Tell me about the growth and the expansion and what's happening in Pawleys Island, and especially the people that are moving into the area. Oh my gosh. Well, in 2024, there was like an 11.5% population growth. After COVID, it just exploded here. Everybody wanting to come and get out of the Northeast or the Midwest, and they came here. And what they expected was the same type of cultural experiences that they had had where they lived before. And that has just taken the Pawleys Island Festival to a different level. And when we first started it, the only thing we did was an October festival. And now we're trying to do things more in the winter. We have an event that's coming up next week. It's in the summer, and then we have the fall. And the more we can grow the area, the more we'll be able to grow the festival.
So let's go back to the Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art. You said this is the 34th year?
Yes.
Go back to year 1. When it started.
Well, I wasn't around then. I've been doing this now. This is my 15th year. Year 1 was when Dr. Lee Minton moved to the area. He was a optometrist, and he retired here. And he really wanted to be able to have classical music, cultural music. More importantly, he wanted students and children and people like in his church that he met that he felt like may never have that opportunity. They may never get to see live performances. So he started very small in people's homes. Did that for a few years. He would bring the talent in, pay for it himself, invite people over. And then it went into churches and eventually grew into where they had a tent and a place to have it with stage and lighting. And it has just grown year after year after year. And he passed away, I think it was 2002. And he left an endowment for the festival to continue its legacy. And that is what we've all tried to do, from the board of directors to, that's changed so many times over the years. But 15 years ago, when we took over the management, we put into place a lot of new things, and a lot of strategic planning went into it. We had 5-year plans and 10-year plans, and we're still working on those.
You're watching or listening to Georgetown, the podcast.
When you mentioned we took over the management, just talk a little bit about that, because things changed and really exploded from there.
Our existing company was a publishing company. It was called Strand Media Group, and we had been in the business for a long, long time. Dolores Blunt was the owner of Strand Media Group, and she had been on the board for the Pawleys Island Festival for many, many, many years. And by being on that board, she watched, the years of a lot of the EDs that would come in. They couldn't do the job. One person couldn't do the job. They really struggled. And when that happened 2 or 3 years in a row, she said, listen, I think I can take our company and we can handle the marketing. And I know a lot about the artist and we have the contacts. Can we try this? And they hired our company to do that, which we did for 12 years. And then last year when we sold Strand Media Group, and we got out of the publishing business, then the 3 of us are now independent contractors. We still manage the festival as a whole, but we're independent contractors for the festival, and we answer to a board of 13.
Now, when you took over the festival 15 years ago, that first festival, where was it? And do you remember? I'm sure you do remember. What were the featured artists your first year?
Oh my gosh! Now that I don't know that I'm going to remember. I do remember we were at Litchfield Plantation, at the old Litchfield Plantation, and we had the tent set up there. We also did the wine gala somewhere else one year because we couldn't have it all. And then we also were at Brook Green for a few years.
Right, I remember that.
We couldn't do our wine gala at Brook Green because that's just something they do not allow other fundraisers, and that's a part of our fundraising. And then we moved, and I think we had it at Litchfield Plantation. We had it across the street at Litchfield by the Sea. I mean, we were like moving around. Right. And about 10 years ago is when we landed at the Reserve, and we've been there ever since. So which was a godsend.
Just talk a little bit about some of the musical acts, the performers that have been a part of the festival over the years. I know many of them. Some of them, I will tell you, just because I was most impressed, and I could not contain myself when the Swingle singers were here.
They were really good.
They were just absolutely amazing, although there have been many. Now, the Steve Tyrells of the world, talk about some of your favorites and the people that have been a part of this festival.
Well, Steve Tyrell, he's up there at the top for a lot of us. He
is a cool dude.
He is. And unfortunately, the last time we had him booked, he became ill and was not able to perform.
Right.
And he's no longer performing on the East Coast. But we were very lucky to have Steve come so many times. But, I mean, we've had so many. We've had tribute bands. We've had bands like Ambrosia, New Orleans, Firefall, Jim Brickman. I mean, it took me several years to get Jim here, but he was
I know that was
amazing.
A bit of an interesting, and then he came and killed it.
We had Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr.
Oh, they were great.
Great. We've had,
the Manhattan Transfer.
Yeah, Manhattan Transfer. Bella Fleck. We've had several times. We had Bella and his wife Abigail last year. They were amazing. We have had the Temptations, the Four Tops, the Drifters, the Miracles, so many Motown groups over the years.
So what you're doing style-wise, what are you trying to do in terms of what are we bringing to the festival?
Our mission as a board and as the group is to bring every genre we can over the years. So now we only do 8 concerts. So it's very difficult for us to do every genre in 8 concerts. But what we do try and do is one year we may do country and the next year we do not. One year may do jazz and the next year we may not. We have found out to be on the big stage, we have to have some name recognition to sell tickets and to get people to come, because we're trying to fill 1,000 seats under our performance tent. Sometimes the classical or the jazz or the Americana, or we may table that and put that in another series that we do in February, which is in a venue that's called the Village House. It's a wedding venue, but we can put around 200 people in that arena, and that's our max. So by doing that, we know that we can sell the tickets to those genres as well. And a huge, huge portion of what we do, as you well know, is what those performers can do as far as outreach into the schools.
Right.
And in February, where we have it for 3 weeks, they have more of an opportunity to go into the individual schools in Georgetown County and perform and see more students than we have the capability of doing in October. Because in October, we're competing on Fridays with football schedules and band.
And on Saturdays with football schedules.
Yes. So you basically have one day that you can do outreaches, which is on a Thursday. But in the winter, we don't have those issues. And so we really feel like we get the most bang for our buck as far as reaching students in that time frame.
And again, we should point out, these are students in the Georgetown County School District.
Right. K through 12.
That's right. So it's all ages, which I think is absolutely terrific. You did mention something that has been the kickoff to the festival for a number of years, your wine festival, which is part of the Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art, but it's a wine event that is highly sought after.
Yes, it is. We sell out now every year. It is the kickoff of the fall series. And we have vintners who come in and donate all this wine for people to taste. It's limited to 500 people. We have, so it's about 75 boutique wines that you don't just go buy at the grocery store.
Right.
They can buy it at the end of the night at a really good discounted price. And then we have 8 restaurants that donate 3 appetizers each. So you get to taste a lot of the local restaurants. We have several from Georgetown, 2 or 3, matter of fact, some from Pawleys, some from Earl's Inlet. And then we have our silent auction that is amazing. And that is our major fundraiser of the year. We only do 2 fundraisers. We do that one and then we do one in the spring. But it has always been, and this will be our 25th year of doing the Food and Wine Gala. And it started out very small amount of wine, and now it's grown to, we've included the food, we include entertainment. We've got a lot of things going on that evening.
It's a great night. Since we're talking 2025, who have we got lined up? And you're done. These are, you're probably looking now at what do we do for 2026?
Oh yeah, we're in programming right now for 2026. But for 2025, our headliner is direct from Sweden, ABBA. It's supposedly the best, and what we have seen and research.
ABBA has had such a resurgence. Yeah.
They're very, very good. Then following them, we have Big Swing and the Ballroom Blasters. And they are a huge group and very, very, very talented. Most of the members are from other bands that you've heard of, and they do all kinds of music. They do swing, they do Motown, they do pop, so it is just going to be an overall great entertainment night. They are followed by Mandy Barnett. Are you familiar with Mandy?
I'm not sure.
She was on the Grand Ole Opry stage for many, many years. She did a big Patsy Cline. She would sing all of Patsy Cline's show songs. When she's coming to see us, she's doing the Burt Bacharach songbook. So her show.
I would love that.
Burt Bacharach. And her voice, she's like angelic. I mean, she has a beautiful, beautiful voice. September in the Park is a Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute, and we are almost selling out of that already. So if you're interested, they better get their tickets. Followed by the New York Bee Gees, another one that is selling like hotcakes. People love the Bee Gees, and the New York Bee Gees have been around a long time, and they're very good at what they do. Followed by How Sweet It Is, which is Steve Leslie. He does James Taylor. He looks like James Taylor. He sounds like James Taylor. He can play the guitar like James Taylor. I mean, he is really a great tribute to James Taylor and his legacy. And the last two, we have the Hitmen, which we've had the Hitmen before,
yes.
Maybe in the first or second year we were doing it. But this is the same group, but they are doing is classic rock. Whereas before it was a different genre. So now it's the ultimate Hitmen doing classic rock. And our final night is our finale. And that is where we take all the seats out from under the tent and we put round tables and people reserve their tables and with their friends and businesses come and they decorate their tables. And the group we have is Uptown. And it is, I've seen them. They dance, they sing, and it is a mash up between Bruno Mars and Motown and soul. And these three guys are some of the most talented guys I've ever seen. And they will put on a phenomenal show. I can sell 56 tables. I have sold 48 already. So I only have a few tables left, but people can still buy tickets and sit on the lawn.
We're talking about October events that are going to be sold out soon. Buying tickets, finding out more, and especially for those people that may be coming up from Charleston and Mount Pleasant, as I think they will, how do they find out more? Where do they go? This is the website pitch.
We have been pulling from Mount Pleasant and Charleston for the past 8 years, largely enough by doing advertising there in Mount Pleasant Magazine. I was on the Mount Pleasant podcast, but if they go to Pawleys Music, which is our website, pawleysmusic.com, go to our Facebook, which is Pawleys Music, we are constantly putting who's coming. We are constantly sending e-blasts. If they've been to our shows before, they're getting an e-blast about every week about a specific performer. But the best way to know what's going on with us is pawleysmusic.com.
Right.
And you can buy your tickets directly from there. I have to point out, please buy your tickets from our website. Don't buy them somewhere else because you're going to pay more money and you may not have your seat when you get there. We have really dealt with that lately. So I just
some of the other venues in town.
Absolutely. And you just have to put that out there. Please go to the venue that you're going to purchase.
Correct. Pawleysmusic.com.
Right. It's just going to be safer for you.
Susan, let's wrap up with just a little bit of what do you see the future of this festival? Where's it going?
We are growing by leaps and bounds, and we have been looking for the last 2 years for a piece of property. Our board is moving forward, and that's what they would like to see is to us have a permanent location, whether it's a arts center or whether it's an amphitheater, but somewhere that we can call home. And that way, then we can show more things throughout the year. We're so limited here on what we can do when we do these performances because we are selling 1,000 seats. But that's our long-term goal is to try to identify property that we can either build on or find something existing that we can remodel and make. But as you know, there's not a lot of empty land in Georgetown County, and in particular in Pawleys Island. And there lies in another, if you're the Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art, even though people come from all over the state of North Carolina, South Carolina, I mean, we have people come everywhere because they're coming here to visit and spend a weekend. They identified for 34 years, we've been the Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art. And so
so you got to be in Pawleys
nice
Island.
To stay in Pawleys Island if we possibly can. And we, but that's.
Well, I will tell you that the entire region would love having you have a permanent location that could then be used for other things. As you know, performing arts centers, there are just not a lot of spaces here. And so if you're able to do that, it's going to benefit everybody from Charleston up to Little River.
Right, exactly.
Susan Bryant is the executive director of the Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art, part of the Georgetown fabric. And we thank you so much for being with us today. Georgetown, the podcast, there's lots more to come. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you for watching or listening to Georgetown, the podcast. Learn more about the Hammock Coast and Georgetown. Read Georgetown Magazine in print, pick one up around Georgetown and along the Carolina coast. Or digitally, visit readgeorgetownmag.com.